Hi guys, it's Tim and Kathy with Taste Life with Us, and we are doing a 7-part series, a video a day for 7 days to celebrate our Nomad anniversary.
Yes, we sold everything and left the rat race behind a year ago.
Wow.
And we've been traveling the world. If you're not a nomad and you're looking into it, we were just like you a year and a half, 2 years ago, sitting there watching all the other nomads thinking, how do I prepare for this? Is it worth the risk? Can we do it? And that's why we're doing these 7 days of review so that you know how it kind of turned out this year. And just so you know, we love being nomads. We would not go back.
Absolutely. So the series includes topics such as, but not limited to, budget and money.
Safety.
Dear Lord, I forgot. No.
Marriage. What our fears and expectations were versus reality.
Anyway.
I can't even remember it all, but there's 7. And this is one of them. And this one
is on what surprised us and what we've learned, and actually one thing that still confuses us.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this kind of like a quick fire setup, and the reason for that is that these are just topics. We're not going to go in depth, but we're just going to give you ideas. So let's start with what surprised us, and one of the first things.
No order.
Yes, no particular order. No winners here.
By the way, we need to say that where we've been for the last year is mostly Australia, New Zealand, and Bali, Thailand, Cambodia, and Singapore, and now Malaysia. So we've been in Southeast Asia.
Right. And currently we are in Kuala Lumpur on the 18th floor, and so you're going to see some funky lighting go because the sun is ricocheting off of a building over there.
Gosh, it's kind of pretty.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
So first thing that surprised us, open air living. A lot of places around the world, it's open air.
Yeah, and you kind of understand once you're there. Yeah, very open air living. The restaurants do not per se have walls. And so that also means that there's just dogs wandering in and out, especially islands and beaches.
But they are some of the most well-behaved dogs I've ever seen. They'll like come up and they may sit at your side of your chair and go, hey, you gonna feed me?
Yeah, but not really
not today. And then they walk away.
Yeah, and we heard horror stories about violent dogs. They were not violent. They're
we haven't seen
dogs, community owned, fed, cared for. Yeah, so a very open air living without a lot of walls.
Next thing that we were surprised about was the lack of regulations. Coming from the United States, we're always seeing everything is regulated. There's
Especially
not even
in California.
Good Lord, we were in Bali. I felt like they were not even building codes. Steps and stairs were like different sizes and depths.
Or traffic laws.
Oh, no, there's no traffic laws.
You know, you really have to watch out for yourself around the world because there's no guardrails, there's no safe steps. You know, you just gotta watch out for yourself.
You really do. Another thing that surprised us was over-the-counter medications.
Yeah, it's weird. The names are different. So if you go in looking for Tylenol, it's going to be paracetamol. Lots of places don't have ibuprofen at all.
Correct.
No place that we've been anywhere has had like Tylenol PM or something like that. You have to switch to Benadryl. So just good things to know. But also surprising us is in some countries you can buy practically any prescription medication just at the pharmacy with no prescription.
Yeah.
And in Australia, the prescriptions come from the pharmacist. Go in, tell them you have pink eye, and they prescribe something, and they give it to you.
Absolutely.
Or they sell it to you.
Yeah, they sell it. They don't give you squat, that's for sure. All right, the next thing that surprised us is the amount of English on signs in tourist areas. Like, they know Americans are the tourists. Actually, just not Americans.
I don't know. Most people speak English. The tourists we've met, most speak English. English is widely spoken. Signs are widely in English. Now, if you get way out of the tourist areas,
good luck.
Yeah, you kind of need a local. Like, even say in Siem Reap, you know, in the tourist areas, everything's in English, everything's easy. You get a little out into the country, you can't even figure out how to buy food at you're not even sure if it is a restaurant. Our guide took us to some places that
we were not sure at all.
Who are you? Why are you here? Can we help order? No, there's no menu and you will have no idea. And he ordered for us and it was a fantastic experience. But yeah, Yeah.
It just
There's
is what it
places you
is.
belong and places you don't. And so get a local to take you to the places you don't. Those are
Correct.
the best places.
So the next thing that surprised us was safety around the world. Good Lord, I
We
feel
have
safer
felt-
around the world than I did in the U.S.
Yeah, we have felt very safe, and actually one whole day this week is dedicated to safety and security.
Yep. Another one. This really surprised us. American music.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought for sure, in Asia they'd have Asian music and, no. It's
You would-
American music everywhere we go.
And you would even think that the karaoke would be done in different languages.
Yep, American songs.
Yep, American songs.
Yeah.
Different accents.
That's
All
just,
right.
This is all based on where we've been, not
Absolutely.
the rest of the world. So we're just
This-
giving you this.
So another thing that surprised us, ranch dressing.
Which we have heard from other nomads exists practically nowhere outside of the U.S. So bring your own little packets if you want to make ranch dressing.
If you want ranch.
We miss ranch.
Yep, you're not getting it.
And
The other thing is that like mayo and ketchup and even bacon.
and like spaghetti sauce and
Yeah, it's what you
pizza
ordered.
sauce.
It's not what you expect, but it's what
Yeah.
you ordered. In
Like-
fact,
In Australia, it was all super sweet.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird. And in Asia, a lot of times it's very spicy. Just, you never know.
You just never know. And
Yeah.
and you have to be careful when ordering your foods because we got nachos and we asked for extra chips with our nachos and we got a plate of French fries.
Yeah, instead of tortilla chips.
So there you
And
go.
the nachos, Mexican food, it doesn't really taste like Mexican food in the U.S.
No.
Nachos have like chili on top of them. They were good.
They were good. Bacon, yeah, bacon is just a whole nother
It
world.
can be anything from ham to salami type stuff. You don't ever know what
Yeah.
you're going to get
You
with
just
bacon.
you don't know. One of the most surprising things for me was the fact that the rest of the world does not seem to be in a hurry.
It does not have the intensity that there is in the U.S.
Mm-mm.
And it takes a while to realize how much intensity you've lived with and how you're always hurrying and multitasking and it hasn't been like that anywhere. Not in Australia, New Zealand, anywhere, even in like Bangkok or here in
No.
Kuala Lumpur. Like people are just living. Like they're not walking down the street while they're texting, while they're also eating. They're not in their cars doing their makeup and working and
Can't
it's
tell
just-
by the way they drive, but
But it's just like people on public transportation. They might be reading, but
you know what goes hand in hand
they're
with
not
that?
sitting there with their laptops and.
You know what goes hand in hand with that has
What?
totally surprised me is the amount of politeness in the world.
Oh yeah, people are polite and helpful.
Oh
And
yeah.
kind. Like I'm trying to think if we've even come across anybody that's very rude.
I've
Maybe
met a few
couple
Americans that were
tourists.
kind of that way.
Tourists, yeah, especially Americans. Sadly, sorry.
All right, moving on.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, I don't know, mosquitoes. I'm not
We
gonna
were
lie.
worried.
We were really worried. We brought a lot of mosquito repellent. Now I have used it because I have a special sweet blood that mosquitoes can smell from a mile away.
It's called beer.
It's
They
sweet
smell
blood.
it. Well, we've barely used any mosquito repellent.
True.
We've hardly been anywhere that we've
Needed
had
it.
any bugs. Even though we were told all these places, tons of bugs, we were told the sun is so intense, bring sunscreen. We've almost hardly ever worn
With
sunscreen,
sunscreen.
just like if we were going to be intensely in the sun.
Yeah.
In fact, we're not even that tan.
Well, it's different here because anywhere where you would normally lay out to get a tan, there's all these shade covers that prevent you from
Shade
getting a
and
tan.
umbrellas, because when the sun is out, it's intense, but it really hasn't been that hot. It hasn't been that humid.
Yeah.
We've been really surprised. The weather has actually been quite pleasant everywhere, aside from a few hot, humid days, mostly because we were exercising hard. We'd walked 15,000 steps or something, so no wonder we were sweating.
Now, I'm also going to put in a little subnote here. Your taste may vary depending on what time of year you come to
right.
these countries.
Climate, even where in the country you are, can totally vary, but
Absolutely.
we have been pleasantly surprised.
Yep. So the next thing you want to kind of be surprised about, or that we were surprised about, is the accuracy of Google Maps and outdated travel blogs.
Yeah, be careful. Just saying, Google Maps is not always reliable. The other thing is like the distances. When you're in the US, you have an expectation of about how far a distance is and how long it takes to get someplace. It's just different in other places in the world. Like, in Cambodia, it's only a half mile away. It's just, a short walk, through a muddy, gravelly road, and then kind of hiking through a little jungle, and then down some big sand mounds, and you'll be there. It'll only take a few minutes.
No problem.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. It's just different. You don't know. The terrain is a lot different than what maps would lead you to believe sometimes. And very hilly.
Yeah.
The world is a hilly place.
Yes. So now here's another thing that surprised the heck out of both of us. Fabric softener is not something widely used.
And so many places the towels are so scrunchy. They're fantastic for
sandpaper.
Yeah. Well, if you need a good exfoliation on your back or you're really itchy, they're great. Otherwise, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, some places.
Yeah. You know what's else going along with the whole showering idea here? Body odor really has not been that bad. I would think that you get on a bus with a bunch of people and you'd be like,
everybody would stink because it's hot and humid.
Nah.
Honestly, it's way less body odor than I noticed just living in California.
Yeah.
And the deodorant is so powerful here. Like sometimes I only put it on like every few days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or every time you shower, or whatever. Like, it's not like this in the U.S. I use deodorant a couple times a day sometimes.
Yep.
Not here. And I never get body odor anymore. Hardly ever.
That's what she thinks. We won't tell her otherwise. The honest truth is, what's really surprised us the most is that traveling has been so much easier than we thought it was going to be.
So much easier. But I will tell you one thing that also really has surprised us is that you have time. And I mean, you knew you'd have time, but you didn't know how it would affect you. And so when you have time, you actually start thinking about all kinds of things that you didn't think you'd think about. Like whether it could be creative things, it could be processing things through your past that you didn't realize you needed to deal with. It could be contemplating inventions. I mean, like you just get weirdly observant and thinking about stuff, and you have time to think. Like you don't realize that you don't normally have time to think.
Which leads me to another thing that I've learned. I need to learn how to control those thinking thoughts. Otherwise, I think I've created something that could fix everything in the world. But I just got to take control over some of that stuff.
And it's so fun to just observe, like to go eat on a beach and watch the local industry going on around you, or to sit on the side of the pool and watch all the little insects that are crawling around. And there's a lot of bug porn out there, just saying. Not saying that's part of what you want to watch, but you're not going to be able to help it.
The reality of it is that we have learned to travel slower.
We've learned to just breathe and be in the moment and be present. And I think in our relationship, we have a whole video on marriage, but we didn't mention this, is that you really just laugh a lot more and you make stupid jokes. And
I've always made stupid jokes.
But it's just like, I think before I was more intense and I was kind of like, okay, make your stupid joke, and I'm trying to think about serious things. But now I find them funny. And
yay!
Yeah, you just have time to be silly.
Yeah,
you
do.
To just be silly together and talk about deeper things. Some way more meaningful, some just completely meaningless, but interesting at the moment. So
absolutely.
Yeah, who doesn't want to sit in an ocean with a glass of wine and talk about, deep stuff?
Like the ocean, it's deep.
Yeah, jellies. Interesting little jellies. Anyways, okay. We digress. Now you want to know what we've learned. What have we learned in the last year?
Okay, well, we've learned that toiletries and makeup are actually kind of hard to find.
And the rest of the world, well, no, I can't say the rest of the world. Asia and Australia and New Zealand do not have things like Target and Walmart.
No,
they actually do have Target.
But
Target does not have the things in it that Target at home does. Like, it doesn't have any toiletries and makeup and, all that stuff that you buy at those places. You have to go to a pharmacy, and not just any pharmacy. You have to find like a mega pharmacy.
Yep.
And in Asia, you mostly had to buy those things at 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven is the grocery store here.
Some grocery stores had it, if you could find a good grocery store. Same with Australia. Yeah. You got to find these things. It's not that easy.
Yep. Now, here in Malaysia, there is the supermarket again. It's kind of like the U.S. supermarket, and so that's nice.
Goodness. The malls here You can find anything you need or want. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep.
Kuala Lumpur is where to go if you are a nomad and you need to restock on stuff.
Okay, let's get back to our list.
Okay.
Things we've learned, different types of beaches.
Oh my gosh, I never realized there's so many different colors and textures of sand and so many differently constructed beaches, whether by, rocks, sand, the little weird piles of sand from the worms that go down, jellies on. I mean, there's just no end to the variety you get on a beach.
Yeah.
Like how you get to the beaches, what kind of surface it is, the depth, the water strength. They're all different.
Mm-hmm. And it is a joy to visit them all.
Oh, we visited a lot and we have enjoyed them all.
Speaking of visiting things, we have learned that it's easier to visit some places with a personal driver.
Yeah, I would have never considered hiring a private driver because I would think that would be a very luxurious, expensive thing. But actually, it's the most economical thing to do in some places, especially in Asia. We've done this in Siem Reap. We did it for 2 months all over Bali, and it was very economical. And not only that, but it had the added bonus of having a local with you if you did need some help with translation, because you're trying to get some weird medication. And you got to know them as a friend. We went to one of our drivers' homes, met his family, saw how he lived. He taught us all about culture and politics and religions there. I mean, and the foods, that you get to try with a driver. It's just such a great
experience.
asset. Yeah.
Hey, here's a one that we learned. Wool shirts.
Right?
They do not hold body odor.
Yeah. And Tim can really add a lot to the shirt where it's like, it's so sweaty you can wring it out and wear it several days like that and it doesn't stink. It's shocking. And they stay really clean unless you really mess them up.
That's
so
true.
You don't have to wash them very often. So wool clothing, like the right kind, like the lightweight travel wool clothing.
Merino.
Yeah, merino wool is fantastic.
Yep. So the other thing that we've learned about ourselves is we are able to adapt. We thought when we started this whole thing that was going to be the hardest thing, and really we're very tolerant and adaptable to our environment and to the critters around us, the bugs.
Oh yeah, like one place we stayed, we had all these centipedes.
Oh my Lord.
Watch our video about Bali, it's about to come out, but is that the one that's coming out? Yeah. So it has Ahmed, there was these centipedes that are like this long in our room. Like literally the day we left, I killed 14 of them before
Watch
we
the
left
video.
at 7 a.m. Just saying, I would have never thought I could tolerate that, killing all the centipedes, and I did.
You did great. So we also learned that driving by renting a car in New Zealand and Australia is a learning curve because they drive on their correct side, but my incorrect side. So
But you did great, and you learned it a lot easier than you expected.
I only got cussed out a few times, and I was impressed with that. Now, we also learned in countries like Bali, driving probably isn't recommended. We did rent a scooter one day, and good Lord, I decided that the traffic laws in that country are suggestions that no one follows.
So before we left, Tim got a motorcycle license, and we really planned to
do a lot of
utilize
scootering
scooters
around
for all these islands, and we have not.
No.
It just hasn't been as easy as it seemed. Like if you're not really experienced at that, and especially driving in Asia, maybe not.
It's a different world, not gonna lie, different world. Okay, here's one that we learned to use, the bum gun.
Oh yeah, and at first it was so weird. It's like a bidet, but on a hose, And we have a video on it where we demonstrate it, but I really apologize for all these shadows, but we are trying to just knock this out. The bum gun, actually, I have to say, in this Airbnb, it was broken when we got here, and they replaced it, and I'm glad because we actually like it now.
All right, so watch our video for a nice little humorous break in life.
But it also is weird because in Asia, very few places allow you to flush toilet paper. And so that's been an eye-opener thing, but we've gotten used to it. Because it's clean because you just use the bum gun.
Yep. The other thing that we've learned is really just been the uniqueness of different religions. Everybody's got their own opinion on religions. I'll leave that at that. But to be able to experience it and to see it, different religions being practiced. It's really been an eye-opening, learn experience that I appreciate greatly.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed learning it, and especially through the eyes of our drivers and stuff. It's really been fascinating.
Yep. So, the old Cub Scout, Boy Scout, be prepared motto, we've learned it.
Yeah, always be prepared, especially on travel days, especially with travel documents and being organized. The more you travel, the more lax you start to get. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're in line for customs and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't know how to have that. I didn't really look that up and da-da-da. So we've got a video coming out on being prepared on travel. And yeah.
Make those travel days smooth. Yep.
So
So we got that. Let's see, we've learned
and just be really flexible.
Yeah.
Like every place you go, you have different resources available and different situations around you where you can walk and where you can get supplies and stuff. So you just have to kind of MacGyver it and
my specialty.
figure it out, and we've gotten very flexible with that.
Yeah, you know what? You learn to plan. You learn to plan ahead for like how much cash you think you're going to need, where you're going to get that type of cash, how you're going to have your electronics set up for when the airplane lands in a different country. You know, you got to have all of that just kind of planned ahead and to know it. But I think the one thing we have learned the most is to know ourselves, know our limits.
Yeah, and just to like be courageous but not stupid.
Yeah.
Try new things, but don't risk an injury.
Yeah, don't get
because we don't want to
crazy.
get hurt and end our travel life.
Yeah.
And just to travel slower. I think we traveled very quickly for a couple of the months, and it really burned us out. And now we have 3 1-month stays in a row that we're very grateful for. So I think one of the biggest learning experiences this first year is to kind of learn like what pace of travel works for us.
Yeah.
And that's going to be different for everybody, but
And the only thing you're going to learn that through, I think, is by experiencing
trial
it.
and error.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trial
so try
and
out different periods of travel, but mix them up so that you don't get too tired.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the one thing that still leaves us confused, which we talked about in another video also on expectations and fears and reality,
Tipping.
tipping. Most confusing thing. Everywhere's different. Lots of issues involved. Tipping, very confusing.
Yeah.
No comment.
No easy answer
We
there.
haven't learned that one yet. Maybe next year we'll tell you all about tipping.
So, as you know, we are Taste Life with us, and we've enjoyed tasting this entire year. Going to different places and different environments and just tasting and just tasting. I hope you've enjoyed tasting it along with us.
I hope you go taste life for yourself.
Yeah.